The Money Show with Stephen Grootes is in conversation with the Ombud Council.
We're in conversation with the Ombud Council, unpacking your rights as a financial consumer. Ever felt unfairly treated by your bank, insurer or financial advisor? Who do you turn to when things go wrong? We're speaking tonight to Reana Steyn, the head Ombud and CEO of the National Financial Ombud, to unpack how you can access free, fair and effective financial redress. Reana, good evening. I really appreciate the time tonight. Thank you. Your organisation now just over a year old. It's a culmination of a combination of previous ombuds who existed previously. The National Financial Ombud, what kind of complaints would you handle? I mean, obviously, almost anything financial, right?
That's correct, Stephen. So, just to give you, sort of the short version, we take all the complaints that the four schemes that, we are the amalgamated scheme of used to handle. So all banking, short-term insurance, and now we refer to as non-life insurance, and life insurance, and then also credit complaints. So, in that mix, you have your motor vehicle claims, the homeowners, a lot of current account issues, people claim due to fraudulent activities, funeral policies, savings accounts, personal loans, the whole mix. So, the picture, if somebody can picture it, literally anything financial services related that you can imagine.
Can I presume that all the precedents from previous rulings from those bodies would still be applied by you?
Yes. So we retained the staff and the knowledge in this new amalgamated scheme. So, if we had a certain sort of a way we viewed a matter, set a precedent, although our decisions do not set precedent as such, I mean, we're not a court of law, but if we over years know that we will handle a certain matter in a certain way, just because we now the NFO, that doesn't mean that that's all down the drain.
Okay. What are the most common complaints that you receive? And I can imagine people didn't get paid out by their short-term insurer. And Reana, I know a lot of people who don't like their banks terribly much.
Yes, unfortunately. I see that, especially on social media, if something goes wrong. So, if as I mentioned earlier, I just before the interview had a look at our latest top 10 categories, and the top of the list is motor claims relating to motor claims. So insurance claims against the insurer for something about your motor vehicle, accident damage, and then obviously the claim is rejected because if it was paid, it wouldn't be sitting with the Ombud scheme. Homeowners, this is the second highest. Again, all these natural disasters, that you can imagine, especially that we've had, from water and fire and anything in between. And then the third one is mostly related to fraud on bank accounts. People losing money. I'm sure you've also done the stories on all of those fraudulent activities, whether it's phishing or vishing. And then you have your the next two are both in the life office, funeral policies and life policies. So those are just the top 5 of the top number of complaints that we deal with in the office.
When you have a problem, right, you kind of are an expert on your problem, but when you lodge a complaint against a bank or an insurer, they're the expert on everything. How do you ensure there's sort of fairness in resolving those disputes?
Well, I think that is where our expertise come in. We do employ a large number of lawyers, and it is our task to try and see the wood from the trees. So first of all, the complaint starts with what the consumer tells us, what they think the problem is, and what they think has gone wrong, and what the financial institution is doing wrong. And then secondly, we ask the financial institution to answer that. And then it is up to us to then either ask for more information plus the documents to back it up, and then to apply the law, or to keep on asking questions until we are satisfied that we've got all the facts on the table. And we can, of course, get facts in some instances that the consumer can't. in an insurance matter, it's maybe straightforward. Both parties know everything. But in some of the banking fraud matters, that's not the case because bank systems, they're not going to give the system information to a consumer, but they will give it to our office. So we ensure the fairness by sitting in the middle and making sure we get all the information on the table and that we leave no stone unturned until we've got all of it, and then we make a recommendation.
So we shouldn't feel intimidated in all of this. We shouldn't be too worried about how big the other guy is.
Not at all. I think that is the beauty of this free service. The Ombud scheme is a free service, and it is set up exactly for that reason. For the one individual that feels that they are intimidated by this big organization with all their lawyers, they're not alone because they have the Ombud scheme that's independently going to investigate whatever it is they're saying.
Are there common mistakes you see people making that actually, if you avoided the mistake, there wouldn't be this financial dispute in the first place?
I think the problem, the most common one, I think you can also guess, is not reading their contracts and being genuinely surprised and disappointed, and also sometimes suffering financially as a result of that. Because they thought it was something different. They thought they were covered. They didn't understand that they can't do X, Y, and Z. So people are, and I'm also guilty. If you want to sign a new contract, people are just going to put a document in front of you and say, sign here and there. And you should really go and read it and study it and understand it, but people don't. And then, of course, they are very, very upset afterwards. If the company who knows their documents backwards points out a clause that's always been there. So that's the one thing, and just understand what they are getting themselves into financially by taking out a new product, taking out that loan.
Thank you very much indeed, Reana Steyn, the head Ombud and CEO at the National Financial Ombud. Need help for pension fund issues? Contact the Pension Funds Adjudicator. Bad financial advice? The FACE Ombud is here. Banking, credit or insurance disputes? The National Financial Ombud can assist. These financial Ombud schemes are overseen by the Ombud Council, ensuring fairness for you. Speak up and know your rights. You have the right to fair treatment by your financial institution. If you feel unfairly treated, lodge a complaint. It's free and available in your own South African language. Visit ombudcouncil.org.za to learn more.